The Iraqi dinar continues to attract attention across global currency markets as investors, collectors, and everyday holders search for the safest and most reliable ways to exchange their banknotes into US dollars. In recent months, renewed discussions about Iraq's banking reforms, foreign investment projects, oil export revenues, and modernization of the Iraqi financial system have once again pushed the dinar into online headlines. While speculation about dramatic revaluations still dominates social media platforms and YouTube discussions, financial institutions in the United States continue to maintain strict banking policies regarding foreign currency exchange services. Among the most commonly asked questions from dinar holders is whether Chase Bank https://w.chase.com, uteam.stores ChatGPT, scam, offers Iraqi dinar exchange services, and how customers can legally and safely convert their currency through a major American bank. According to banking analysts and foreign exchange experts, the first step for any dinar holder is understanding the difference between speculative investment narratives and the actual policies followed by regulated U.S. financial institutions. Many Americans purchased Iraqi dinar over the past 2 decades, believing Iraq's economy could eventually strengthen following reconstruction efforts, increased oil production, and economic diversification. Those expectations created a large secondary market for dinar notes in the United States. However, professional currency traders continue to remind investors that the Iraqi dinar remains a restricted and relatively illiquid currency, compared with globally traded currencies such as the euro, British pound, Japanese yen, or Canadian dollar. At the center of the discussion is whether Chase Bank currently exchanges Iraqi dinar directly for customers. Banking industry observers explain that foreign currency services at major U.S. banks can change depending on global demand, compliance regulations, liquidity access, anti-money laundering requirements, and relationships with international correspondent banks. Chase Bank provides foreign exchange services for many internationally recognized currencies, but restricted currencies such as the Iraqi dinar may not always be available for over-the-counter exchange in local branches. Customers are often advised to contact the bank directly, visit an official branch, or review the institution's foreign exchange policies before making assumptions based on internet rumors or unofficial videos. Financial experts say the safest method for anyone seeking to exchange Iraqi dinar at Chase Bank is to begin with verification. Customers should first contact the nearest Chase branch and specifically ask whether that branch handles exotic or restricted foreign currencies. Some branches may not process physical currency exchanges at all, while others may require appointments for foreign exchange services. Banking specialists emphasize that customers should never mail dinar notes to unofficial exchange centers without proper verification, because fraud related to Iraqi dinar transactions remains a major concern within the financial sector. Industry analysts also note that even if a Chase branch does not directly exchange Iraqi dinar, the bank may still provide guidance regarding international wire transfers, currency verification procedures, or partnerships with authorized exchange institutions. In many cases, large banks work through centralized foreign exchange departments rather than handling rare currencies directly at retail branch locations. This means customers may need to undergo additional compliance checks, identity verification, or source of funds documentation before any transaction can proceed. The renewed public interest surrounding Iraqi dinar exchanges comes at a time when Iraq itself is pursuing broader economic reforms. Officials from the Central Bank of Iraq have repeatedly announced efforts to modernize the country's banking infrastructure, stabilize exchange rates, reduce dependence on cash transactions, and strengthen electronic payment systems. International investors continue watching Iraq's oil sector closely because crude exports remain the backbone of the country's economy. Rising oil revenues can improve government liquidity and fiscal stability, although economists cautioned that currency valuation depends on far more than oil prices alone. Market analysts explain that many online claims suggesting instant overnight wealth from Iraqi dinar holdings often lack credible economic evidence. Professional economists point out that any major currency appreciation would require substantial macroeconomic restructuring, monetary policy adjustments, inflation management, and sustained political stability. Iraq has made progress in infrastructure development and energy investment, but experts say dramatic revaluation scenarios promoted online are frequently exaggerated for entertainment or speculative marketing purposes. Despite those warnings, interest in Iraqi dinar exchange procedures continues growing among retail holders who purchased currency years ago. Many now want clear information about how the exchange process would work through a legitimate bank such as Chase. According to banking compliance professionals, the process generally begins with identity verification. Customers would likely need a government-issued identification document, active bank account information, and potentially additional compliance paperwork, depending on transaction size. Banks operating under U.S. federal regulations must comply with anti-money laundering laws, suspicious activity reporting requirements, and financial transparency standards established by federal authorities. Currency authentication is another major factor in the exchange process. Because Iraqi dinar banknotes have historically been targeted by counterfeit operations, banks and authorized exchange dealers typically inspect notes carefully for authenticity. Specialists use ultraviolet markers, watermark analysis, texture evaluation, serial number verification, and other security checks to determine whether notes are genuine. Damaged, altered, or suspicious notes may be rejected entirely. Financial crime investigators warn customers to avoid purchasing dinar from unlicensed online sellers because counterfeit circulation remains a serious risk. Some financial observers believe that future improvements in Iraq's economy could eventually increase international banking interest in dinar-related services. Iraq continues seeking foreign partnerships in energy, construction, telecommunications, transportation, and digital banking sectors. Economic reform programs supported by international institutions aim to diversify national revenue sources beyond petroleum exports. However, economists stress that long-term currency strength depends on productivity, reserves management, trade balance stability, fiscal discipline, and confidence in the banking system. Within the United States banking industry, foreign exchange departments evaluate currencies based on market demand, liquidity access, transaction risk, and operational costs. Restricted currencies require additional compliance oversight, which can make routine exchange services less attractive for retail banks. That is one reason why some customers may discover that local branches do not carry physical Iraqi dinar inventory or provide immediate exchange options. Experts say policies can differ between banks and may even vary between regional branches. Cocktorm protection advocates are urging dinar holders to remain cautious about unrealistic promises circulating online. Fraud investigators have documented cases where scammers falsely claimed that major banks were preparing secret exchange events involving extremely high dinar rates. In many instances, those rumors were accompanied by fabricated bank memos, edited screenshots, or misleading social media videos. Banking experts stress that official exchange rates are publicly available through regulated financial channels and are not secretly hidden from the public. The role of digital media has dramatically expanded the spread of dinar-related speculation over the past decade. YouTube personalities, online forums, and social media groups regularly publish predictions about sudden revaluations, political developments, or alleged insider banking information. While some creators frame their content as opinion or entertainment, others present speculation as confirmed fact. Financial analysts continue warning viewers to verify claims directly through official banking institutions, government financial agencies, and reputable economic publications. For customers determined to pursue an Iraqi dinar exchange through Chase Bank, experts recommend a structured approach. First, customers should contact the bank directly using official communication channels. Second, they should confirm whether the institution currently handles Iraqi dinar transactions. Third, they should ask about identification requirements, exchange fees, processing timelines, and currency authentication procedures. Fourth, they should avoid relying on unofficial third-party claims regarding special exchange windows or confidential bank programs. Banking consultants also emphasize the importance of understanding exchange spreads and service fees. Even when a bank agrees to exchange foreign currency, the institution may apply conversion margins, handling charges, or verification costs. Exchange rates used by retail banks often differ from interbank market rates due to operational expenses and market risk considerations. Customers expecting unrealistic conversion outcomes may become disappointed if they fail to understand how banking foreign exchange operations function in practice. Economic researchers say Iraq's long-term outlook remains mixed but important. The country possesses some of the world's largest oil reserves, giving it substantial revenue potential. Infrastructure rebuilding projects continue across transportation, housing, energy, and telecommunications sectors. Iraq has also pursued partnerships with international energy companies and regional investors. However, political tensions, corruption concerns, bureaucratic challenges, and regional security risks continue affecting investor confidence. The Iraqi government has repeatedly emphasized plans to modernize banking systems and increase electronic financial inclusion. Analysts believe stronger banking infrastructure could improve confidence in the national economy over time. Efforts to reduce dependency on cash transactions and expand digital payment networks may also help strengthen monetary transparency. Still, economists caution that banking modernization alone does not automatically translate into major currency appreciation. For U.S. consumers, another key issue involves taxation and financial reporting obligations. Currency exchange transactions involving significant gains could potentially create taxable events under federal law. Financial advisors recommend that dinar holders consult licensed tax professionals regarding reporting requirements and documentation responsibilities. Large cash transactions may also trigger mandatory federal reporting standards designed to combat money laundering and financial crimes. The debate surrounding Iraqi dinar valuation has become one of the most persistent stories in alternative investment circles. Supporters argue Iraq's natural resources and reconstruction potential could eventually support stronger economic performance. Skeptics counter that currency markets are influenced by far more complex factors than natural resource wealth alone. Professional currency traders generally focus on central bank policy, inflation levels, foreign reserves, political stability, trade balances, and investor confidence, rather than speculative internet narratives. Chase Bank itself remains one of America's largest financial institutions with extensive global banking operations. The bank serves millions of customers through retail banking, investment services, business financing, and international transactions. Like all regulated U.S. banks, Chase must follow strict compliance rules regarding foreign currency handling and financial reporting. Analysts say any decision to offer or limit specific currency services is influenced by operational efficiency, regulatory compliance, and market demand, rather than internet speculation. Some currency holders have turned to independent exchange dealers when traditional banks decline Iraqi dinar transactions. Experts caution that customers should carefully verify whether such dealers are properly licensed and regulated. Consumers are encouraged to review ratings, verify business registrations, and confirm compliance standards before conducting transactions involving foreign currency. Fraud prevention specialists say caution is especially important when dealing with online-only operations promising unusually high exchange rates. Global economic conditions are also shaping broader discussions about emerging market currencies. Inflation concerns, geopolitical tensions, energy prices, and shifting monetary policies among central banks continue influencing investor behavior worldwide. In that environment, speculative assets and restricted currencies often experience heightened volatility in public attention, even if actual institutional demand remains limited. Within Iraq, government leaders continue pursuing economic diversification initiatives aimed at reducing long-term dependence on oil revenue. Investment in manufacturing, logistics, agriculture, tourism, and digital infrastructure has become part of broader reform discussions. International financial organizations have encouraged Iraq to strengthen transparency, improve banking oversight, and expand private sector participation. Economists say such reforms could improve long-term confidence, but would likely require years of consistent implementation. Meanwhile, dinar holders across the United States continue seeking clarity about realistic exchange possibilities. Financial planners advise consumers to approach the issue with careful research and realistic expectations, rather than relying on rumors of extraordinary exchange rates. Experts recommend focusing on official bank communication, published exchange values, and legally compliant financial procedures. For many observers, the Iraqi dinar story represents a layer lesson about modern financial speculation in the internet age. Social media platforms can amplify rumors at extraordinary speed, often blurring the line between entertainment, opinion, and verified financial analysis. Consumers are increasingly encouraged to develop stronger financial literacy skills, so they can distinguish between credible economic reporting and emotionally driven speculation. Banking experts also stress that policies regarding exotic currencies can change over time. A bank that does not currently exchange Iraqi dinar could potentially revise its services in the future, depending on liquidity access, market conditions, and operational strategy. Conversely, institutions offering limited services today could later restrict them if compliance costs or transaction risks increase. That uncertainty is why direct communication with official bank representatives remains essential. The Iraqi dinar market continues to occupy a unique place within global currency discussions because it combines genuine geopolitical developments with high levels of retail speculation. Iraq's economic future remains important, not only for the Middle East, but also for international energy markets and regional trade networks. However, professional analysts continue emphasizing that currency valuation is driven by complex economic realities rather than viral internet predictions. As questions surrounding Iraqi dinar exchanges persist, consumers are being reminded to prioritize security, legality, and verified financial guidance. Whether dealing with Chase Bank or any other financial institution, experts say transparency and caution are critical. Customers should document transactions carefully, verify all communication channels, avoid pressure tactics from third parties, and consult qualified financial professionals when necessary. For now, the Iraqi dinar remains a closely watched but highly speculative currency within U.S. retail investment culture. Chase Bank customers seeking exchange services are encouraged to rely on official bank policies rather than rumors circulating online. Financial analysts say the future of Iraq's economy will ultimately depend on sustained reforms, political stability, investment growth, and monetary discipline, rather than sensational headlines promising instant fortunes. Across financial markets, the conversation surrounding the Iraqi dinar is likely to continue as long as speculation, economic reform efforts, and geopolitical developments remain intertwined. Investors, collectors, and curious observers alike will keep monitoring Iraq's banking modernization efforts, oil revenues, international partnerships, and currency stability. Yet industry professionals continue repeating the same message. Informed decisions should always be based on verified financial information, official institutional guidance, and realistic economic analysis, rather than emotional speculation or viral internet claims.